And so what we'll do is make a build of our GameMaker project and then upload it to itch.io and then submit to the jam here. So I have GameMaker open already. Make sure before you do the build, just test the game in the right platform. So we're going to be publishing an HTML5 version of the game because it's easy to put on itch.io. So when we test, we can choose the target in GameMaker using this little target button up here. And the default is going to be Mac or Windows if you're on Windows. But we want to switch to HTML5. And before we publish it, just make sure you actually test the game and see that it runs okay. So I'm going to run the game. You can see it opens it up in a browser when I change it to HTML5. And I'm just going to run through the game real quick and make sure I can get through it. So I'll get to the second level and make sure the second level works okay. And so this looks okay. Let's see if I can get to the end. Okay. I guess I didn't program in an ending, so that's the end of the game. So that looks fine. I might, if there's errors or things that don't look quite right, you can go back and fix them, obviously. But if it runs okay, you can make a build. So to do that, go to Build and go to Create Executable. And do we want to stop the current project? Yeah, that's fine. And so it's going to give you two options. You can package as loose files or package as a zip. We can go ahead and package as a zip because that's what we need anyway to upload to itch.io. So I would choose that option. But if you package it as loose files, you can obviously just turn it into a zip. So either one will work fine. But package as a zip is a good option here. And then I'm just going to put it in my project folder. So I have GameMaker projects, and then I have my project folder here, and I'm going to make a new folder called builds and just add the build there. It doesn't really matter where you put it as long as you can find it, but it's good to kind of put it with the rest of your project. So once you do the build, it will open it up and you'll have the zip file. If you want to take a look in here, you can unzip it and see what's in here. There's an index.html page, which is just the basic HTML page. There's a icon for GameMaker, and then you can see the assets of the game in here. This is kind of interesting to look at just because, for example, if you look at this image, you can see that it actually it takes all of the assets that we use in the game and it combines them into one big sprite sheet. And it just kind of puts everything in random places. So it does it in the most efficient way possible. So that's why the game size, it's only 500 kilobytes. So the game size is really small. And that's one of the ways that it manages that. And then there's some other stuff in here. There's some fonts and stuff. And obviously if you have more assets, you'll see more stuff in here. But you don't have to open this, so I'm just going to delete it. And so now we're ready to publish this on itch. So I'm going to go over to the browser and open a new itch tab and go to new project. And so you can name this after your game. So I'll just call this GameMaker example fall 2025. You should just title this whatever your game is called. And then same thing, we've done this a couple times already, so I won't go into too much detail, but you can fill out all of these fields if you want to. The main thing that you have to remember to change is we're not doing a downloadable project. We have to change this to HTML. You need to turn off payments, and then here we can upload our zip. So I'm going to go to my GameMaker projects and go to builds and find my zip file there. And then make sure to check this file will be played in the browser. And then I'm going to make sure that the viewport dimensions match the size of the game. So my game is actually 640 by 320. So I'm just going to change those values. If your game window is a different size, obviously just match those dimensions to the size of your game window. And you don't have to fill out any of these other things unless you want to. I didn't use AI, so I'm going to click no here. You could add tags, like there's probably a GameMaker tag. So we could add that. And then make sure to set this to public. And if you want, you can say it's unlisted. That's up to you. So once you've done all that, make sure the game actually runs. So don't just submit this. Make sure your game actually runs. If you see any issues here, like it doesn't run, or once you open it, the buttons don't work, or anything like that, let me know and we can troubleshoot, but hopefully it'll run. And that looks good. If you want to edit this page at all, remember you can go to edit theme and you can change the colors of the links or the background or whatever else you want. And then you can also add a cover image. This is probably nice to do just so we can see what game we're looking at. Let's see if I have any screenshots. Yeah, so maybe I'll take one of these screenshots and upload that as my cover image. Okay, so once I've done all of that, I'm ready to submit this to the jam. So if I go back to the GameMaker jam page, I can click Join Jam and then Submit Project. And I'm going to choose my GameMaker example, Fall 2025, and click Submit. And then you should see your project in the submissions page. And so once you've done that, you're good to go. And just like we did in our previous playtesting sessions, in the second part of class, we will test the games. And so on the game page, you can leave a comment and give feedback. And you can go to the game page itself to play the game. But you can leave comments on the jam page if you want to. So, and remember, we've already gone over this, but when you leave comments, make sure to be constructive. So it's good to point out things that you liked about the game. That's always helpful to know what looks good or what is working well. And it's also helpful to point out things that were unclear or didn't make sense. And if you have thoughts about ways to improve the game, that can be constructive, but make sure to be positive and to be encouraging when you make those comments. All right, so that's everything for publishing the game. I'm going to stop here